I looked at the door for what felt like forever. The brass handle gleamed under the hallway light, and I could hear voices inside. Laughter, clinking glasses, that warm hum of celebration. My hand hovered inches away, but I couldn't knock, because 3 hours ago, I'd seen the photos. My son's wedding, a ceremony I wasn't invited to. And when I called, shaking, asking why, Emily's voice came through the speaker, cool as winter. "We only invited special people, Margaret." 4 words. That's all it took to crack something open inside me that I'd kept carefully sealed for 72 years. I stood there in that hallway, my purse heavy on my shoulder, filled with the checkbook I'd used so many times to write their rent, their car payments, their everything. $33,000 over 3 years. My late husband's insurance money, my retirement savings, all of it flowing into their lives while mine grew smaller and quieter, and more alone. The voices inside grew louder. Someone proposed a toast. I heard Jason's laugh, my son's laugh, the same one I used to hear when he was 7 and I'd surprise him with pancakes shaped like dinosaurs. I turned and walked away, and as I did, something hardened in my chest. Not anger, not yet. Something colder. Clarity. If you're hearing this story, I need you to stay with me, because what happened next changed everything. I thought I knew about family, about loyalty, and about how far people will go when money is involved. This channel is new, and we're sharing real stories every single day. Stories that matter, stories that need to be heard. If you think this one might be important, please subscribe now. You'll want to hear how this ends. I sat in my kitchen the next morning with my bank statements spread across the table like evidence at a crime scene. Coffee steamed next to my hand, but I couldn't drink it. My stomach was a knot of something I hadn't felt in years. Not sadness, but rage. Clean, focused rage. 3 years. That's how long I'd been their private bank. It started small. Jason called 6 months after Emily moved in. Said they were short on rent. "Just this once, Mom. We're getting on our feet." I sent $800. Then it was the security deposit for a better apartment. Then furniture. Then Emily's car broke down. Then Jason's hours got cut. Then. Every time, I said yes. Because that's what mothers do, right? We catch our children when they fall. We sacrifice. We give until there's nothing left to give, and then we give more. But "we only invited special people" played on a loop in my head. I stared at the numbers. $33,214. Not loans. Gifts. Because every time I'd suggested repayment, Jason would get quiet, wounded. I thought family didn't keep score, Mom. My reflection stared back at me from the kitchen window, and I barely recognized her. When did I become so small? So invisible? Henry died 4 years ago, and instead of grieving, I'd poured myself into making sure Jason was okay, into being useful, into being needed. We only invited special people. I picked up my phone. Hands steady now. First call. My bank. I need to remove someone from my authorized contacts. Second call. I changed my address with every bill, every statement. Third call. A locksmith. Fourth call. Something I should have done months ago. A lawyer. The lawyer's name was Patricia Hendricks. Her office smelled like old books and lemon polish. She was maybe 50, with silver-streaked hair pulled into a neat bun, and eyes that had seen every kind of human mess. "Tell me everything," she said. So I did. I told her about the wedding photos I'd seen on Facebook, about the phone call, about the years of money flowing out and nothing, not even respect, flowing back. Patricia didn't interrupt. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. "Margaret, I need you to understand something. What you're describing isn't just hurtful. It's financial exploitation. And if they've been depending on your money, they're not going to let go easily." "What do you mean?" "I mean they'll fight. People don't give up their income stream without a battle." I thought about Jason, my boy, my only child. He wouldn't, maybe not consciously, but desperation makes people do ugly things. She pulled out a notepad. "We need to protect you, legally, financially, document everything, and prepare for them to get creative." I nodded, my throat tight. "Okay. One more thing." Patricia's voice softened. "You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to feel guilty. That's normal. But remember, setting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's survival." The first text came 2 days later. "Mom, my transfer didn't come through. Everything okay?" I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed, "No more transfers, Jason. I can't keep doing this." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, "What are you talking about? We need to talk. Come by this weekend." "Can't. Busy. Just send the money, we have bills." My hands trembled, but I wrote, "No." The phone rang 5 seconds later. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. And again. 12 calls in 20 minutes. The next message wasn't from Jason. It was Emily. "Margaret, I don't know what Jason did to upset you, but we have a mortgage now. We counted on that money. You can't just cut us off." Mortgage? I'd given them rent money for an apartment. When did they buy a house? And with what down payment? I called Patricia. "They've been using your money as income verification," she said after I explained. "It's more common than you'd think. Adult children who present their parents' support as their own earnings. Margaret, how much do they think you're worth?" The question landed like a stone in dark water. "I don't know. We never discussed it. Do they know about Henry's life insurance? Your savings? Maybe. Jason has a key to the house. He could have seen statements." Silence on Patricia's line. Then, "Change your locks tonight, and I'm filing a protective order on your bank accounts. If they try to claim joint access or power of attorney, we need documentation that you revoked it in sound mind." That night, I lay in bed listening to the house settle around me. Every creak sounded like footsteps. Every shadow looked like someone at the window. I'd raised Jason in this house, taught him to ride a bike in the driveway, held him when his father died. How did we get here? If you've made it this far, please subscribe to our channel and leave a like. It shows YouTube that this content matters to you, that real stories like this deserve to be shared. It helps more than you know. I promise you, what happens next? You need to hear it. A week passed. Silence from Jason. Then, on a Tuesday morning, my doorbell rang. I looked through the window and saw him standing there with Emily, both dressed nicely, like they were going somewhere important. Emily held a folder. I opened the door but kept the chain on. Jason, his smile was tight. "Mom, can we come in? We need to talk. We can talk here. Mom, come on. Don't be like this." "Like what?" Emily stepped forward. Her voice was honey over glass. "Margaret, we're worried about you. Jason says you've been acting strange, forgetting things. We think maybe you need help." The world tilted. "Excuse me?" "Memory issues run in families," Emily continued. So gentle, so concerned. "And you're 72. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We just want to make sure you're taken care of." Jason nodded. "We talked to a doctor. He said we should consider getting you evaluated. Maybe look into assisted living. Somewhere you'd be safe. I'm perfectly fine. Are you?" Emily opened the folder. "Because last month you sent us rent money twice. You don't remember that? And you called Jason at 3 a.m. asking where your car was. It was in your garage. Lies. Pure, calculated lies. That never happened. Mom, it's okay to admit you need help. Get off my porch." Jason's face hardened. "We're trying to protect you." "From what? From keeping my own money?" "From yourself." Emily's voice lost its sweetness. "You're clearly not capable of managing your finances. Someone needs to step in before you hurt yourself." I closed the door, locked it, stood there shaking. They were going to try to declare me incompetent, to take control, to take everything. I called Patricia immediately. She listened, then said 3 words. "Get a witness." "What?" "Everything they say, everything they do. You need witnesses, cameras, documentation. They're building a case that you're mentally unfit. We need to build one that you're not." The next day, I installed security cameras. Front door, back door, driveway. Patricia referred me to a psychiatrist, Dr. Raymond Cole, who specialized in elder capacity evaluations. Dr. Cole was 70 himself, with kind eyes and a handshake that steadied me. "Tell me what's happening, Margaret." I told him everything. He listened, took notes, asked careful questions. At the end of 2 hours, he leaned back. "You're one of the sharpest 72-year-olds I've met. Your memory is excellent. Your judgment is sound. You're not paranoid. You're responding appropriately to a real threat. They're going to say I'm crazy. Then I'll testify that you're not." He handed me his card. "Keep this. And Margaret, Don't let them gaslight you. Manipulation isn't love. The lawsuit came 3 weeks later. Jason and Emily, represented by some lawyer they'd clearly scraped together money for, petitioned for emergency conservatorship. The document claimed I was a danger to myself due to diminished mental capacity and poor judgment. It cited the made-up incidents Emily had mentioned. It claimed I'd wandered the neighborhood at night, confused, that I'd forgotten to pay bills, that I'd given thousands to strangers online. None of it was true. Patricia's response was swift and surgical. She submitted my medical records, Dr. Cole's evaluation, bank statements showing years of organized, consistent financial management, security camera footage proving I'd been home every night, safe and sound. They're desperate, Patricia said. This is a Hail Mary, but we still have to take it seriously. The hearing was set for 6 weeks out. In the meantime, Jason's campaign intensified. He talked to my neighbors, painting a picture of a confused old woman who needed saving. Mrs. Chen next door started looking at me with pity. The mailman asked if I was doing okay, all things considered. Then Adult Protective Services showed up. The caseworker was young, maybe 30, with a clipboard and a practiced expression of concern. We received a report that you might be in a vulnerable situation. From my son. I can't confirm the source, but I'm required to do a wellness check. I let her in. Showed her my clean house, my organized bills, my fully stocked fridge. Answered her questions calmly, clearly. She looked almost disappointed. You seem fine, she admitted. I am fine. Then why would someone report this? Because I stopped giving them money. Understanding flickered in her eyes. I see. She made a note. I'll close this case. But Mrs. Harrington, if you need resources for legal protection, financial abuse, I can provide them. I took the pamphlets. And I cried after she left. Not from sadness, but from exhaustion. How much more would they do? How far would my own son go? The answer came a week before the hearing. I was at the grocery store when I saw Jason in the parking lot. He was loading bags into his car. A new car, I noticed. Something sleek and expensive. Emily sat in the passenger seat. I turned to walk past, but he called out, "Mom, wait." I stopped. Not because I wanted to, but because I was tired of running. He approached slowly, like I was a wild animal. "Mom, we can stop this. Drop the lawyer. Come back to family. We'll forget everything if you just help us out, like you used to." "Help you steal from me, you mean?" His face twisted. "Steal? You're my mother. It's not stealing when it's family. It is when you lie, when you manipulate, when you try to have me declared incompetent. We're trying to save you." His voice rose. People in the parking lot turned to look. "You don't understand how hard it is. We have expenses. We have a life. You're sitting on all that money, doing nothing with it, and you won't even help your own son. I gave you $33,000. And what's that compared to what you have left? Dad's life insurance? The house? You're going to die someday, Mom. Why not let us have it now when we need it?" There it was. The truth, raw and ugly. I wasn't a mother to him anymore. I was a bank account with a pulse. Goodbye, Jason. I walked away. He shouted something after me, but I didn't turn back. The courtroom was smaller than I'd imagined. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, and the wooden benches smelled of old varnish and broken families. Jason and Emily sat on one side with their lawyer, a middle-aged man in an ill-fitting suit who kept shuffling papers nervously. I sat on the other side with Patricia, who wore confidence like armor. The judge was a woman in her 60s, Judge Maria Santos, with reading glasses perched on her nose and an expression that suggested she'd seen every scheme humans could devise. Jason's lawyer went first. He painted a picture of a concerned son trying to protect his aging mother from herself. He cited the APS report, omitting that it had been closed. He mentioned my isolation and advanced age. Then he called Jason to the stand. My son, my baby, who I'd rocked through fevers and nightmares, sat there in a borrowed suit and lied. He said I'd called him confused multiple times, that I'd forgotten conversations, that I'd accused him of things he'd never done. "I love my mother," he said, voice breaking. "I just want her safe." Emily testified next. She was better at it, more polished. She talked about how I'd been generous to a fault, but now couldn't manage my finances, how I'd cut them off, without warning or reason. "We just want to make sure she's cared for," Emily said, dabbing her eyes. That's all we've ever wanted. When it was our turn, Patricia stood and smiled. Your Honor, I'd like to enter several pieces of evidence. She submitted bank statements showing 3 years of transfers to Jason and Emily, Dr. Cole's evaluation, my medical records, the security footage proving I was home and functional every night they claimed I was wandering. Then she called me to the stand. Mrs. Harrington, Patricia said gently, why did you stop sending money to your son? I looked at Jason. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Because he got married and didn't invite me. When I asked why, his wife told me they only invited special people. A murmur went through the courtroom. Judge Santos leaned forward. And when you stopped the transfers, what happened? They tried to make me think I was losing my mind. They lied to social services. They filed this petition claiming I was incompetent. My voice was steady now, clear. Your Honor, I'm not confused. I'm not vulnerable. I'm just a mother who finally realized she was being used. Patricia submitted one more thing. Printed screenshots of Jason and Emily's social media. Photos from expensive restaurants. Their new car. A post from Emily bragging about their smart financial planning. Paid for with their income? Patricia asked. Or with funds from a 72-year-old woman's retirement. Jason's lawyer objected, but the damage was done. Judge Santos removed her glasses and looked at Jason and Emily for a long, heavy moment. I've presided over many conservatorship cases, she said. Most involve genuine concern for a vulnerable adult. This is not one of those cases. She glanced at her notes. Mrs. Harrington is clearly of sound mind. She's managed her finances responsibly for decades. The only thing that's changed is her willingness to continue funding her son's lifestyle. She looked directly at Jason. That's not mental incompetence. That's common sense. She denied the petition. Completely. Jason stood up. Your Honor, you don't understand. Sit down, Mr. Harrington. I understand perfectly. You've wasted this court's time and your mother's money trying to access more of it. Be grateful she's not pursuing charges for elder financial abuse. She turned to me. Mrs. Harrington, your accounts remain under your sole control. This case is dismissed. The gavel came down like a period at the end of a long, painful sentence. Outside the courthouse, Jason followed me to my car. Mom, wait, please. I stopped, but I didn't turn around. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Emily, she just thought, Emily? I finally looked at him. Jason, you're a grown man. You made your choices. But you're my mom. Doesn't that mean anything? It used to mean everything. My throat was tight, but I wasn't crying. Not anymore. But you taught me something these past months. You taught me that love isn't supposed to hurt this much. That family isn't supposed to feel like being slowly bled dry. I never wanted to hurt you. You just wanted my money. I unlocked my car. You wanted it more than you wanted me. That's not... Goodbye, Jason. I drove away. In my rearview mirror, I saw him standing there in the parking lot, Emily's arms around him, both of them looking lost. I felt something then. Not quite pity, not quite grief, something closer to release. The house sold 3 months later. I didn't need that much space. All those rooms full of ghosts and memories of a family that no longer existed. I bought a small condo near the coast where the air smelled like salt and possibility. I donated $20,000 to a local organization that helps seniors navigate elder abuse. I figured if my pain could protect someone else, it wasn't wasted. Patricia became a friend. We meet for coffee sometimes, and she tells me stories of other cases, other families. I'm not alone in what happened to me. That's comforting and heartbreaking in equal measure. Dr. Cole checks in every few months. How's the sharpest 72-year-old I know? He asks, and we laugh. I started painting again, something I'd given up when Henry got sick. Watercolors, mostly. Seascapes and sunrises. I'm not very good, but that's not the point. The point is the doing, the creating, the quiet joy of making something beautiful out of nothing. I have new friends now. Women from my art class. Neighbors in the condo building. People who like me for me, not for what I can give them. We have lunch, take walks, share stories. My life is smaller but fuller. Quieter but richer. Jason tried to reach out twice. Once on my birthday, a text that said, "Happy birthday, Mom. I miss you." Once at Christmas, "Can we talk?" I didn't respond. Maybe that makes me cruel. Maybe boundaries always look like cruelty from the outside. But I learned something in that courtroom. Something I should have known years ago. Sometimes love means walking away. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to stop letting people who hurt you pretend it's care. I'm 72 years old. I don't know how many good years I have left. But I know this. I'm spending them on people who see me, not my bank account. On experiences that fill me up instead of drain me dry. On becoming the woman I was before grief and guilt convinced me I was only valuable as a checkbook. There's a painting I finished last week. It's a woman standing on a beach at sunrise, her back to the viewer, facing the ocean. The sky is all pink and gold, and you can't tell if she's just arrived or about to leave. I hung it above my couch, and every time I look at it, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Hope. Not the desperate, clinging hope that people will change or love you the way you deserve, but the solid, steady hope that you can change yourself, that you can choose differently, that it's never too late to stop betraying yourself for the comfort of others. I thought being a good mother meant sacrificing everything. Turns out, being a good person sometimes means saving yourself. If this story touched something in you, I need you to know you're not alone. Whether it's a child, a parent, a partner, financial abuse happens in families more than anyone wants to admit, and the shame of it keeps people trapped, silent, funding their own suffering because they don't want to admit that love can look like theft. But here's what I learned. Setting boundaries isn't abandonment. Protecting yourself isn't selfishness. And walking away from people who only love what you can give them isn't cruelty. It's survival. If someone in your life needs to hear this, share this story. Sometimes we need permission to stop setting ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. And if you've made it this far, if my story mattered to you, subscribe to this channel. We're sharing real stories every day. Stories about resilience, about finding strength in impossible places, about the quiet courage it takes to choose yourself. Some stories deserve to be heard. Some truths need to be told. Thank you for listening to mine, for witnessing what happened and not looking away. There's power in that, in being seen, in being believed. I'm okay now. More than okay. I'm free. And if you're fighting the same battle I fought, I want you to know, you can be free too. It starts with one word, the hardest word in the world to say to people you love. No.